What's up everyone and welcome back to MMA Talk. UFC middleweight champion Dricus du Plessis has made a bold statement about one of the most talked about fantasy matchups in mixed martial arts, Khamzat Chimaev vs Alex Pereira. In a recent interview, du Plessis didn't hold back when giving his honest assessment of how such a fight would play out, confidently asserting that Chimaev has no chance of defeating Pereira if they ever step inside the octagon together. The South African champion, known for his straightforward and analytical approach to fight breakdowns, began by acknowledging Chimaev's history of calling out top names across multiple weight divisions. He's always had crazy callouts, du Plessis said with a slight laugh. You know, Khamzat's one of those guys who isn't afraid to call out anyone from welterweight all the way up to light heavyweight. But there's just no way he beats Pereira, in my opinion. Du Plessis then elaborated on why he believes Alex Pereira currently stands on another level compared to most fighters in the sport. Pereira right now is one of the greatest combat athletes we've ever seen, he said. Not just in MMA, but in any combat sport. The man has done things very few people can. He's conquered 2 divisions in the UFC, won world titles in kickboxing, and he's done it against elite-level opponents. According to du Plessis, Pereira's size, striking, and composure make him an absolute nightmare for anyone coming up from a smaller weight class like Chimaev. He's huge, Dricus emphasized. Even now at light heavyweight, he looks enormous. Just look at him in his fight against Magomed, he looked like a monster. Khamzat's strong and powerful, but that's a whole different kind of strength. Pereira's frame, his timing, his experience, that's something you can't just bulldoze through with wrestling. While Chimaev's wrestling has proven to be elite, du Plessis believes Pereira's striking precision and defensive awareness would make it nearly impossible for the Chechen-Swedish contender to implement his game plan. People underestimate Pereira's ability to stay calm under pressure, he explained. Yes, Khamzat could get a takedown or two, but keeping someone like Pereira down is a completely different story. He's composed, he's powerful, and one mistake against him could end the fight instantly. Du Plessis also voiced doubts that the matchup would ever actually happen. With Pereira currently reigning at light heavyweight and possibly eyeing future fights at heavyweight, the South African champion doesn't see the UFC booking a bout between the two anytime soon. Honestly, I think it's all hype, he admitted. It's a fun thing for fans to talk about, but realistically, I don't think that fight ever happens. They're just at different stages right now. Pereira is defending his belt against top 205 contenders, and Khamzat still needs to solidify himself at middleweight. Still, the hypothetical matchup continues to fuel debate among fans, with some believing Chimaev's relentless grappling could neutralize Pereira's striking, while others side with du Plessis, arguing that Pereira's size and knockout power make him nearly unbeatable for smaller fighters. For now, du Plessis is focused on defending his own title but remains confident in his analysis. Look, I respect Khamzat. He's an incredible fighter. But if we're being honest, no, he doesn't beat Pereira. Not now, not ever. With that statement, Dricus du Plessis joins a growing list of fighters and analysts who view Alex Pereira as a near-unstoppable force in the UFC, a champion who has transcended divisions and continues to prove why he's one of the greatest combat athletes of this generation. Before we jump into the next story, we have a small favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon. It really helps us out and ensures you'll never miss an update. Move on to another news. UFC light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira has once again expressed his interest in moving up to the heavyweight division, this time aligning himself with none other than Jon Jones, the reigning UFC heavyweight champion. In a recent appearance on ConnectCast, Pereira explained why he believes a fight between the two would be monumental, not only for their careers but for the sport of mixed martial arts as a whole. Pereira revealed that the idea of fighting Jon Jones has been on his mind for quite some time. I've always talked about this fight, he said, about moving up to heavyweight and challenging myself against the best. But at first, I told myself to stay in my division. I wanted to focus on my health, maintain my weight, and not rush into anything. The Brazilian powerhouse explained that despite his success at middleweight and light heavyweight, he's aware that time is catching up to him. I'm 38 now, Pereira continued. At this stage in my career, I have to think about the legacy I want to leave behind, and I truly believe that this fight, me versus Jon Jones, is one that needs to happen. Interestingly, Pereira's thoughts seem to mirror those of Jones himself. The two champions have publicly acknowledged each other in interviews, sparking widespread fan discussion about a potential super fight between the two dominant champions. Pereira noted that Jones had recently brought up the matchup as well. Even Jon was talking about it, he said. He mentioned this fight in one of his interviews the other day, and honestly, I think the same way he does. For Pereira, the fight isn't about bad blood or rivalry, it's about greatness recognizing greatness. We're both big names, he explained. We've both accomplished so much in our careers. When two fighters like that face each other, no matter what happens, nobody really loses. It's a win-win situation. Pereira went on to elaborate on why this particular fight would be so special for both men. Jon Jones is one of the greatest to ever do it, maybe the greatest, he said. He's dominated for years and proved that his skill set is unmatched across multiple generations. For me, as someone who's fought and beaten champions in 2 divisions, to face someone like him would be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. energy. It's not just another fight, it's history in the making. At the same time, Pereira believes he brings something unique to the table that could challenge Jones in ways few have before. "I'm not a typical striker," he explained. "My background in kickboxing gives me timing, power, and precision that most MMA fighters aren't used to. And now, with my experience in grappling and cage work, I feel more complete than ever. If John wants a real test, I'm here for it." Pereira also acknowledged the physical and mental demands of moving up to heavyweight but made it clear that he's not intimidated. "I respect the size difference, but I've fought bigger men before. Power is something I understand very well, and at heavyweight, I think I'd carry mine even better." Fans around the world have long fantasized about what a fight between Pereira and Jones would look like, a clash of eras, styles, and legacies. With both champions now publicly expressing mutual respect and interest, the possibility feels closer than ever. Pereira concluded with a reflective tone, saying, "For the fans, for the sport, and for our own legacies, this fight just makes sense. When two great fighters meet, it's not about who loses, it's about giving the world something unforgettable. That's what I want to do before my time is up." If the UFC can make it happen, Alex Pereira vs. John Jones could easily go down as one of the biggest and most significant fights in MMA history, a true battle of champions at the peak of their greatness. Move on to another news. Former UFC champion and MMA legend Quinton "Rampage" Jackson has once again found himself at the center of controversy following a heated exchange during a recent livestream. The altercation, which reportedly stemmed from comments made about his son Raja, quickly escalated, and now, Rampage believes the incident could lead to potential legal action against him. The situation unfolded during a casual livestream where Rampage was interacting with fans and other participants. Things took a sharp turn when someone allegedly mentioned his son's name in what Jackson perceived as a disrespectful or insensitive manner. In the clip, Rampage's tone shifted instantly as he confronted the person. "What's wrong with you?" he asked sharply. "Why you ask me something like that?" It became clear that Rampage took the question personally. His demeanor grew tense, suggesting that the topic of his son was a sensitive issue. The individual who made the comment appeared confused, but Rampage insisted that the man knew better, pointing out the smirk on his face as evidence that the question wasn't made innocently. A woman who was present during the incident attempted to defuse the situation, apologizing and trying to clarify that no offense was intended. Rampage eventually calmed down, introducing himself politely and even shaking hands, but the discomfort in the air was undeniable. "It's a real touchy subject," Rampage admitted. "They call him Rampage for a reason," the woman joked, trying to lighten the mood, to which Rampage responded with a smile, but the tension lingered. Later that same day, Rampage addressed the altercation in another livestream. He revealed that the woman involved had since requested that the footage be taken down and hinted that she might pursue legal action. "That lady that was with that dude asking weird questions about my son, she wants that clip removed," Rampage explained. "She wants to sue me, but I'm not doing that. We were filming in a public place." Jackson expressed frustration with how quickly the situation spiraled, emphasizing that he hadn't said anything inappropriate or aggressive toward the woman. However, he was clearly emotional when discussing the broader issue of people mentioning his children. "It's personal, bro," he said. "When you have kids, no matter what's going on, it's still your kid. People can be really insensitive about that. It's different when it's your family, your brother or cousin, but when it's your kid, it's an extension of you. That's why it hits so deep." Rampage admitted that he understood why people might criticize his reaction, but he stood firm in defending his emotions. "A lot of people don't get it. They see me tripping and think I overreacted, but when it comes to my kid, that's just different," he said. Despite standing by his feelings, Rampage did express some regret about how he handled the moment. "At the end of the day, I was wrong. I should have just walked away," he admitted. "That would have been the better move." The former UFC star went on to say he hadn't yet seen the clips circulating online but expected they might paint him in a negative light. "I already know how it's gonna look," he said. "They'll make me out to be the bad guy. But I didn't say nothing wrong, it was just a sensitive topic." As of now, no formal lawsuit has been filed, but the possibility remains. Rampage, who has had a history of public altercations and outspoken reactions, once again finds himself walking a fine line between defending his personal boundaries and dealing with the public scrutiny that comes with being a well-known figure. Whether or not the situation escalates legally, this latest incident highlights a recurring theme in Rampage's life, a man trying to balance his fiery nature, fame, and deep emotional ties to family in a world where every moment can go viral within seconds. Move on to another news. UFC featherweight champion Ilia Topuria has made a bold statement that's sure to spark debate among MMA fans. He believes Merab Dvalishvili could move up to featherweight and dethrone longtime division king Alexander Volkanovski. Speaking in a recent interview with Betsun Sport, Topuria praised Merab's relentless work ethic, his character, and his fighting spirit, while expressing full confidence in the Georgian contender's ability to capture his second UFC title. "First of all, I want to wish Merab good luck," Topuria began. "He just had another fight scheduled, and that man, he's just not normal. He's built different. He's one of the hardest workers in the sport and one of the nicest guys I've ever met. There aren't many people in this business as genuine as Merab. Merab. Topuria went on to share that he has personally encouraged Merab to consider a move up in weight. "I've already told him before he should go to featherweight," Topuria revealed. "He has the skills, the pace, and the mindset to compete with anyone at 145. I truly believe he could win a second belt. There's no doubt in my mind that Merab is capable of being a two-division champion." The Georgian champion's respect for Merab extends beyond competition. Topuria, who recently solidified his status as one of the UFC's most dangerous fighters, spoke with genuine admiration for his fellow Georgians' attitude toward life and the sport. "Merab is salt of the earth," he said. "He's humble, hardworking, and just a great person. You won't find many like him in MMA. The way he trains, the way he fights, it's inspiring. He never takes an easy road, always pushing himself to be better." When asked specifically about how a fight between Dvalishvili and Volkanovski would play out, Topuria didn't hesitate to make his prediction. "If Merab ever fights Volkanovski, I have zero doubts about how that ends," he stated confidently. "I know exactly what happens in that fight. Merab wins. His pressure, his pace, and his wrestling would be too much for Volkanovski to handle. Volk is an incredible fighter and a true champion, but Merab's style is different. He breaks people." Topuria elaborated on what makes Merab's fighting approach so unique. "He never stops moving," he said. "The man's cardio is unreal. He can keep a relentless pace for 5 rounds without slowing down. You can't rest when you're fighting him. Even if you're technically better in one area, he doesn't give you time to think or breathe. That's how he beats people, not just physically, but mentally." While Topuria himself currently reigns as the featherweight champion, his comments show a deep respect for competition and a willingness to give credit where it's due. He emphasized that his statement wasn't about creating rivalry but about recognizing greatness in another athlete. "People might think I'm just saying this for hype, but I mean it," Topuria clarified. "I'm not saying Merab should skip the line. I'm saying he has the talent to compete and win against anyone, even champions like Volkanovski." Topuria's confidence in Merab reflects the growing reputation of fighters from Georgia and the broader Caucasus region, athletes known for their toughness, discipline, and elite grappling backgrounds. "It's something in the mentality," Topuria added. "Guys like Merab, they're built from hard work, from sacrifice. That's what makes them special. When you come from that kind of background, you fight with a different kind of fire." As both Topuria and Dvalishvili continue to dominate their respective divisions, fans can't help but imagine what would happen if Merab really did move up in weight. Could he truly outwork Volkanovski, one of the most well-rounded champions in UFC history? If Ilia Topuria's words are any indication, he has no doubts in his eyes. Merab Dvalishvili's pressure, wrestling, and relentless spirit would lead him straight to victory over Alexander Volkanovski, solidifying his place among the elite two-division champions in UFC history. Move on to another news. MMA legend Khabib Nurmagomedov has once again taken on his role as coach and mentor, returning to the training room to help his teammates Islam Makhachev and Umar Nurmagomedov prepare for their highly anticipated upcoming fights. Recently, Khabib shared exclusive footage from an intense training session that showcased the elite Dagestani camp's trademark work ethic and unity. The clip, posted to social media, revealed the aftermath of a grueling sparring day at the American Kickboxing Academy, aka, where Khabib, Islam, and Umar were seen pushing themselves to the limit. Sweat-drenched mats, exhausted fighters, and the unmistakable atmosphere of hard work. It was a glimpse into the kind of preparation that has produced multiple world champions. According to Khabib's caption, he's personally overseeing both Islam and Umar's camps. Umar Nurmagomedov is scheduled to face Mario Bautista at UFC 321, while Islam Makhachev is preparing to move up to welterweight for a massive showdown with Jack Della Maddalena at UFC 322. Both fights carry significant weight, not just for the athletes but for the continued legacy of Team Khabib, a dynasty built on discipline, humility, and dominance. In the video, Khabib could be heard giving strategic instructions, correcting details during drills, and motivating his fighters through fatigue. His presence in the gym immediately elevated the energy, a reminder of why he's considered one of the greatest minds in MMA, not just as a fighter but as a leader. Fans have been eagerly awaiting Khabib's return to coaching after he took time away to focus on his family. His comeback to the training room has clearly reignited motivation among his protégés. Both Islam and Umar have spoken publicly about how much Khabib's guidance means to them, not only in terms of fight strategy but also mental preparation. For Islam Makhachev, this next bout is historic. Moving up to 170 pounds to challenge Jack Della Maddalena for the welterweight title marks his attempt to become a two-division UFC champion, following in the footsteps of legends like Georges St-Pierre and Daniel Cormier. Khabib's experience in championship-level preparation could make all the difference as Islam adapts to the new division and game plan. Meanwhile, Umar Nurmagomedov, often praised as one of the most talented young fighters in the UFC, faces a crucial test against Mario Bautista. Undefeated and hungry, Umar is looking to make a statement that will propel him into title contention at bantamweight. Under Khabib's watchful eye, his wrestling, distance control, and striking precision have looked sharper than ever. In interviews, Khabib has often emphasized the importance of team spirit over individual glory, a principle principle deeply rooted in the Dagestani fighting culture. "We train together, we win together," he once said. "Our goal is to dominate every division." That philosophy remains alive in the gym, where every fighter, from champion to newcomer, is expected to give their all every day. The footage from Khabib's camp perfectly illustrates that mindset. Islam and Umar were seen pushing through multiple sparring rounds, drilling takedown chains, and practicing transitions under fatigue, a signature of Dagestani training. Khabib stood by with his trademark calm intensity, offering feedback after every round, ensuring that his fighters leave nothing to chance. For fans, seeing Khabib back in the corner and training room is an emotional reminder of the bond that has defined this team for over a decade. From the mountains of Dagestan to the Octagon lights of the UFC, the Nurmagomedov legacy continues to evolve, with Khabib now shaping the next generation of champions. As UFC 321 and UFC 322 approach, all eyes will be on Islam Makhachev and Umar Nurmagomedov. With Khabib once again leading from the front, both fighters look poised to carry the torch forward, proving once more that Team Khabib's dominance is far from over. Khabib's message was simple but powerful: hard work always pays off. Discipline beats talent. We are just getting started.